Hey, good morning, folks. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. My little blurb hopefully gives you a sense of where I'm going with this. Several need to knows in this forecast coming up. Now, the first need to know is kind of a big picture type thing. I feel like right now, for the next couple of weeks at least, we're in a pattern where you're going to see big changes in the forecast. From what, say, you're looking out 5 days and saying, oh, Saturday looks good, and then 3 days out, you might say, well, there's rain back in the forecast, and then a day out, it might go away, and then it might happen. We're in a pattern, and I'm going to show you that is kind of chaotic, and right now there's a lot of disturbances in that pattern, which I think will, to my second point, eventually lead to precipitation that's useful. We've been dry actually now here the last month to 6 weeks, and we could use some rainfall. You will miss some of those rains, but there are so many chances out there in the next 2 weeks that you will also get some of the rains. So everybody probably will not stay totally dry on this. All right, so those are the big picture need to knows. The short-term need to knows are when it's going to rain today and where and whatnot. Hey, good morning, Sherry Homrick and Susan Smith. Good morning, and Tom Ramsey. Good morning. Tammy Hastings from Port Huron. Okay, so here we're going to start with the big picture again, and the big picture is that the jet stream is cutting across the northern U.S. and disturbance, probably the Friday night, Saturday morning disturbance. Here's another one, probably a Sunday disturbance. So when I say disturbance, that means it turns into rainfall, okay? And there's plenty of these out through the Pacific. Now, we're getting one right now, and here is a good example. And again, you know, we rely on models. We'll be honest, it's the best way. It's been a great improvement in weather forecasting over the last 20, 30 years. You have to admit that. But sometimes we get into a pattern where the models don't pick up on all this stuff. And so we're spot on for a month, several months, and then all of a sudden things kind of go off kilter, and things aren't as reliable as you have expected, and we're probably quite honestly getting into that kind of pattern, which tells me that you just got to check in often. I got to check the weather often, and there will be updates. Okay. Ryan Lynch, how's today in Charlevoix? Again, these lazy showers around should be diminishing, so I would call it partly sunny, but I wouldn't rule out a quick shower. Now the main batch of rain is moving into the Bay City, Saginaw, Midland area. We could use it desperately. I'm in here in Frankenmuth, and it is bone dry, and I hear the rain falling. Now, this is a kind of rainfall that typically starts to diminish in coverage starting 9 o'clock into 11 o'clock or so. Katie Torres, Saturday for Saginaw. Right now, I would call it warm, humid, and there could be a thunderstorm, but not an all-day type rain. And again, my little soapbox to you is keep watching, okay? All right, so there's your rainfall for today, moving into the Saginaw Valley and the Thumb. And that's going to leave kind of a lazy pattern of showers that could redevelop this afternoon. Look at what that rain did in Zeeland. Heavy rain, 3 inches. Rain started around 12:30 last night. Only 0.29 inches had fallen by 4:40 a.m. That means 3.61 inches has fallen in the past hour. Now, that's the area of rain that is moving toward the Tri-Cities, but at the same time, weakening as it normally does at this time of the morning. So here is our radar forecast. And we're at noon, 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, still showing the lazy showers around, okay? And by evening, those lazy showers could translate into the southeast part of the state as well. So it's just kind of a pattern where there's nothing defined, where we can move the rain in, move the rain out, and tell you exactly when and where it's going to rain, like we often can, most often can, with regularly moving storm systems. These are just kind of lazy, stagnant storms. We're into overnight tonight. Now we're into Friday, and I showed you that disturbance out in the northern Rockies, and I think that's what shows up Friday across the UP. Friday, this is Friday afternoon, looking good, and then this is Friday overnight. Okay, and we're at 6 o'clock Saturday morning. So to me, this looks like an overnight type rain, Friday night, early Saturday morning, moving across the lower peninsula. Hey, you too, and Garza, have a great day. Rhonda Crawford, here again is the Saturday situation, and I would say Saturday has a chance of drying out after that morning rain. Sunday storms for Grand Rapids area, do you know if they will be strong? They certainly could be, because we are in a pattern where it would produce strong thunderstorms. I want to show you this again, just so that you know that, again, this is not what I would call inherently an overall dry pattern for the next 2 weeks. In fact, I would look at it and say, I think it's inherently kind of a wet pattern that will be developing. So things could change kind of quickly. What you're looking at is the upper airflow, okay? And you're looking at a forecast of the upper airflow. And every time you see one of these little bends here, that's a disturbance, okay? And these disturbances bring in the lines of showers and thunderstorms. And as you see, here's what we forecast off of in the summer. This right here is a disturbance. That is Friday night, 8 p.m. And that is what sets off showers and thunderstorms. And there's another one out to the west. And we go to Sunday, and something will probably rotate around this main low pressure center, and then you see more out to the west. So the point being is, I know it's been dry, you're going to have to keep watering the garden, but at some point Mother Nature's going to do it. Now here's our quote-unquote new improved U.S. model called the GFS. I am not impressed. In fact, I am very disgusted. I have to look at the European. The European seems to be right on all the time. We can't show you the European. We have to, from what I've been told in the past, we have to pay $40,000 a year just to redistribute the data from the European. So I have to look at that, kind of match it up with the U.S. model, and walk you through that. But this U.S. model upgraded is, in my mind, is junk. But it shows some of the same things that the European does, so that's why I show it to you. So here is Friday night, Saturday morning, and that looks like the next batch of showers and thunderstorms. Now the European has a Sunday pretty robust rain across northern Wisconsin, the UP, northern half of Michigan. The U.S. model, not much at all. But I do think it will rain. And then out into the distance, the only theme you can get off of this is that there's still disturbances heading this way. So that's the best we can do right now. The Tri-Cities, Saginaw, Bay City, Midland, and the Thumb. You've got a wet several hours, and hey, that's fine. We need it bad. Southern Lower, Detroit, Ann Arbor, Jackson, Kalamazoo. Probably waiting until sometime late this afternoon for scattered thunder showers to develop. Then the next batch of thunderstorms comes through Friday night, early Saturday morning. And then again, I would say there could be something on Sunday as well. I'm going to highlight that in a post for you here on MLive shortly about the weekend. And overall, the temperatures will be warming up into the 80s. The humidity will be going up. Of course, if you get rain like we're having in the Saginaw Bay City area right now, if you get that in the middle part of the day, it will keep the temperatures cooler. But also, as soon as that rain dries up and sun comes out, even if the temperatures were cooler through the day, they pop up into the 80s. So definitely going to be a summery type forecast. Chris Passeri wants to know Munising for the next 4 days. You are going to have off and on thunderstorms because you are in the storm track, and I would say you're going to get clumps of 1 and 2 hours of thunderstorms probably each of those days across the UP. All right, have yourselves a great Thursday, folks. This is MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Bear with us here, and don't just look at the extended forecast 7 days out and say, oh, next Saturday looks great, and not keep checking back. And don't get frustrated when that changes rapidly from dry to wet, dry to wet. We are in what I think will end up being a fairly numerous but short-lasting shower and thunderstorm pattern here in the next couple of weeks. I'm MLive Chief Meteorologist Mark Torregrossa. Please hit the share button.